This webinar on Loop Email is about improving customer support. We've had a bunch of questions come in from a variety of people to, asking us to advise them or give them some sort of feedback on how they can use Loop Email for a customer support tool. So this is what we're going to be discussing here. So my name is Pfizer. I run and operate the UK arm of Loop Email. We're based in Slovenia, but we also have one of our main offices in the UK. And I help businesses mainly in terms of understanding the product, how to use the product, the function of the product, and we also carry out training and webinars as well. And also we really, from the UK side, really help the companies on board onto the platform as well. So, if there's a small team or a business that you're looking to onboard, I would be the person helping you onboard to the platform. So the main goal from this is for you to ask any questions. There's a lot of stuff that we'll be going over, so you can interrupt me, you can send a question to the Q&A section in Zoom. We really advise that we do the Q&A section in Zoom, because then we can keep an idea of all the questions, and also we can send the questions and answers off to people who weren't able to join the webinar. So yeah, if you have any questions about the product, anything that I'm trying to explain, or anything about something that you may have missed, feel free to drop the question in the Q&A. I also have a couple of panelists that are working in the background. So if I miss the question, they will definitely try to answer as well. Okay. Rajiv, you just asked a question in the chat. It's a text only. This way, it gives everybody a sort of a forum to speak. If it becomes voice and audio, a lot of people start talking over each other, and there's a lot of things that you can miss. So if you have a question, feel free to pop it in the Q&A, and we can answer that for you. Okay. So from today's session, our main goal here is threefold. We really want to help you understand how you can use Loop Email to service your customers faster. That's the main overall objective. We also want to show you how you can use some of the features on Loop Email to actually go and execute this by providing the faster, more efficient customer support, how you can actually do this on Loop Email. And also we'll go over some workflows. Now, there's a couple of things that our existing customers use and how they sort of interact with their customers. We'll go over some of the use cases that they have, and I'll be showing you and demonstrating a couple of things with some accounts that we've created to show you how you can incorporate these workflows within your own business or within your team. Okay, so what I will do, I'm just going to pop over to my screen. Okay, I hope you can all see my Zoom inbox. If you've already got the product, you're all probably familiar with this and what this looks like. I want to start off by explaining to you how important we feel organization is. So organization is sort of the core appearance and feel of Loop Email. And what I mean by that is what we do better than sort of other email communication platforms that are out there is that we have your emails, messages, files, and teams all in one place. Now, this is great if you have a number of customers or a number of teams or a number of projects on the go and actually want to get to the information that you want to get to quicker. And the way we do this is by breaking down each part of a communication point. So, for example, what you're presented with when you log in is your Loop inbox, which is a combination of your emails, your messages, and your loops. But we give you the ability to actually individually go into them. So, for example, here, I'm able to go into my messages, I'm able to go into my emails and my loops and break down each part of a communication or a comms that you're getting. Now, with Teams, it's It's great because you can access your teams through your favorites here as well, which you've created. Now, bearing in mind, teams don't necessarily mean a team or a department. As an example, within our own company, within Loop, we use teams for a number of different things, not just departments. So we have a hotfix team, for example. These are project-based teams. So here we know we have to deal with a project or a fix that we need to do. And everything within that particular team stays within the channel. So this is where, again, the all in one place really comes into effect, because as soon as you click into this channel, you're presented with all the emails, all the chat messages, and all the files in one place. Now imagine if you had created a team like this for a particular customer, or you had a team called customer support. You'll be able to share all your information. You'll be able to discuss with the team that work in customer support whenever there's a query from a particular customer. And it really becomes a hub almost, a hub where all your data is kept, a hub where all the information for a particular customer is kept, and a place where you can, if you're not necessarily in the office or you just want to know what's going on within a particular subject or particular project, somewhere you can drop in and out of to actually see what is going on and how you can participate or be, pass on the information to somebody else. So that's the key with everything in one place with organization. Now, the second part is our really powerful chat system, our messages. Now, messages are really important on Loop because unlike other products where you may need to, two parties may need to have the same product to send a chat message, because we're developed and built on the largest platform, which is email, this really becomes a powerful tool, because what I can do from here is if I were to send a quick message, I could send a message to people that weren't on the platform. So what that means is that you'll be able to experience an entire chat-based conversation, and the other individual will be able to see that as a traditional email. So again, here you could message customers, you can message people internally, but you as a user of Loop Email will get this amazing UX UI experience, which is quick, which is fast, which is also engaging. The other powerful thing about messages is it sort of breaks down the barriers, especially with internal communication. It really breaks down the barriers of traditional, the hello and kind regards. It gets straight to the point, it's concise. So again, very good when dealing with customers. They don't necessarily want a long, convoluted answer. They would rather have a question and get it answered straight away, and especially when it's an emergency. So having chat is on the same platform as your email is a huge advantage internally and externally. Now, as I mentioned before, creating teams is a huge part of Loop. One of the things that we've noticed with the current way of teams and how they're managed is through email groups. Now, email groups are great. They served a purpose back when something like this didn't exist. But our goal here is to really sort of develop that ethos of having a bunch of people in one place. So when you do click onto a particular team, so I'll click on a team here. So we're currently doing some beta testing. And the back of that, we've got a whole bunch of people who are part of the beta testing. And when you click on the little icon on top where the little man is, you're able to see all the participants. You're also able to see who the admins are. And that this is fantastic, because this is really your multi-dimensional, your 3D email group. You've got rid of that, and what you've done is you've created this really powerful, really dynamic channel where you can discuss and share information with all the participants of a team that you've created. And again, you can click onto files, you can have a look at their emails, and also cool little features is when you actually click on a new email, for example, it automatically knows that you're creating an email which you want to share in this particular team. So it auto-generates that for you as well, which is quite handy to have. So by incorporating Teams, incorporating chat, we have something that we call loops. Now, loops are great, we feel, for actually dealing with customer queries, dealing with emails that you want more information from your team or from other people within the business from. And I'll give you an example of what Teams are, but let me sort of give you a breakdown of what we believe loops is and what the power of loops is. So loops are a way to have a private conversation around a particular subject. So you will see the email here, and you will see the private conversation around that email. Now, how this works in a customer service point of view is if you get a customer request and the customer request comes directly to you. So in my case, what would happen is I will click on unread to see what all my unreads are. So I'm normally the go-to, the face-to-face person with the client. So I'm normally the person who tends to the request from the client. I've gone and met them face-to-face. And what happens is that if a question comes to me, which in most circumstances it would, and it's something that I don't know, I will need to incorporate or invite somebody in to give me an answer for that particular question. So in the traditional email way, you would get the question from the customer and you would forward that on to one or two people, and then they would potentially forward it on to the other two people, and they will forward it to them, and so forth. And your inbox gets cluttered, and now you're all left with forwards, and it's a messy inbox, and you don't know who's answered. Somebody may have been popped off the email, the chain's broken, it becomes a bit of a nightmare. And you don't really want that when you're dealing with a customer. So in this example that I'm about to provide over here, we have customer one. So customer one has sent a very quick email. He just wants to know when the delivery ETA is. So if I click into the email, I will notice it goes, "Hi Fazal, can you please confirm when my delivery is due?" Very simple, very quick answer, but I don't necessarily know the answer to this question. I've obviously given them a time and a date, but it could have been a delay in the delivery. So traditionally, you will just click forward, and then you will forward it on to the individual that you need to. However, with loops, your customer experience when dealing with this customer really becomes faster and more dynamic. So what I would do is, I would, rather than clicking forward, I will click the looping button, which you will notice in the bottom right-hand corner. And what that would do is this will pop up a new start messaging pop-up with your coworkers. And from here, I can add and share this email with somebody. Now, bearing in mind, I will share this email and all the contents of this particular email in private. So the original recipients, the customer one in this example, will not see what I'm about to share with another person within my company. So I can quickly share this with a team that I've created. So I've got a team, it's called the delivery team. So it's called Delivery HQ. I could ping a message to Delivery HQ. So there are 5 members in here already. I'm already part of this team. So I quickly add them to this, and within the message I can say, "Hey guys, can you please review this email?" So I will send this off. Great. So what that's done is popped up to say, "Hey, look, you've shared this email with Delivery HQ." Great, it's exactly what I wanted to do. So now, within my loops, I'll be able to go in here and have a look. Okay, there's a new email in here now, and it's to Delivery HQ with the same title, same subject as Delivery ETA. So if I click into this, I can now see that the email is on top, and there is a new dynamic chat, private chat taking place. And I can also see there are people already typing. So brilliant. So I've got my colleague, Jerry. Jerry and I work quite close together, but he also works primarily within the delivery team. So he's just going to quickly check for me and see when this delivery is due. Now, you can also see there's another person called Giga who's also typing. And the reason that is because he's also part of the delivery HQ team that I've created. So everybody in the delivery HQ team will get that message that I've sent this out to. And again, whatever these guys send me, they will be able to review in the email. Now, the other great thing is now they could get back to me and reply back, and I can reply to the customer from here. But because this is something we call live loops, so what this means is they can actually just reply directly to the customer. So you can see Jerry over there, he got it, it's tomorrow, and he'll reply directly. So because he also gets to see the same thing that I do, and he also has a live loop, he will click the reply button, and then you will see the next pop-up that will arise from here will be a reply directly to the customer. So let's see, let's give it a couple of seconds, and we'll notice that a new reply has popped up from Jerry. Okay, so brilliant, here you go. So Jerry in the background, he's actually taken the initiative. He's obviously part of the delivery team, and what he's done is he's gone, hey customer, this package should be delivered tomorrow, all the best, Jerry. So now what that's done is the customer hasn't seen any of this private conversation, but what he has seen is the continued thread of the discussion of the delivery. So what the customer one sees is this email, and he will notice that Jerry is also part of this thread now. So essentially in the background, what you've done is you CC'd in Jerry, and Jerry has been able to respond to the customer directly. So the reason why this is so great is because what you're doing is you're having this really dynamic chat experience with your team, but at the same time you're closing loops, you're closing off requests and questions and reports from customers at the same time. So we as Loop Email, as a business, have a variety of loops. You can see from the side here, we have a whole bunch of loops, and we use them for customers, we use them for internal staff, we have so many use cases where we feel we no longer have to use the forward button. That's something that's become kind of a thing of the past for us. Now, another great place where loops really helps with customer support is with ticketing. Now, ticketing is a very important tool, especially when dealing with a customer request. But in this particular instance, what we could do is if we go back to the original email, so we can actually, let's see if I can pop that email open again. Okay, so we can have a look at customer one. So this was the email from customer one. Now, in this situation, if Jerry hadn't answered this, or we wanted some further information from this, and I wanted to assign this to a particular person, what I would do is from him, I would assign it to, rather than the team, I can assign this to Anya. And I can say, actually, let's assign it to Anya. And from here, I can say, Anya, can you deal with this? So what's happened is what I've done is I've created a loop and I've assigned it to a particular person. So I've essentially given a ticket to Anya. Now, if Anya comes back to me and says, hey, do you know what? This is not something that I deal with. This is not within my remit. What I can do, and where again, you can really incorporate other people in Loop Email, is by heading over to the corner here, again, where is a little icon for an individual. I can click Add Member, and from here, I can add another person to this. So let's add Anna to this. Perfect. And what's happened now, Anna has also been included into this email. Now, we as a company do this quite a lot. So whenever there is a request from a particular customer, our customer support team will then assign a particular task or a particular project to a person or a team. it's really sort of helped us streamline the way we deal with customer queries, because one, you're not having to, as we're a startup, for one, we're not having to spend more money on another platform which only does customer support, and then spend money on another product that just does chat and just does email. It really becomes a place where we can do all of these things in one place. So that's exactly what we think is important. The other one thing that I should mention is with Loops, it also really becomes a place where you can go in and update yourself on a specific subject. So, for example, if in the delivery team, the head of delivery obviously wouldn't reply back to me or won't know what the delivery time is, but if he or she actually wants to see what is going on with this particular customer, if we are actually delivering on what we have promised them, they can quite easily pop in and out of this particular loop that is created and keep themselves in the know, which is huge. I think there's one or two companies that we are working with at the moment who have a large data set of customers, and what they are struggling with at the moment with Outlook is the ability for the CEO to just pop in and out of Teams and see what is actually happening. So what he's done in this example is he is included in all the teams that they've created. So he's not necessarily actually very vocal in these teams, but the reason he likes being part of all the teams is that he can actually just pop in and out and see what is actually happening in that channel. So I'll give you an example. If I was a CEO or a manager of a particular business and I wanted to see what was going on within market feedback as a team that we've created, what I would do is, rather than sending an email to the head of market feedback and say, look, hey, what's going on, I would just click the market feedback. I would look at all the reports that have been actually discussed. I can go in, I can look at the report, I can see what the conversation is, and I've actually answered my own question. I don't necessarily need to then individually email people and ask them and interrupt them and waste their time with the same questions they've probably got from a number of people. By creating a channel or creating a loop, I can go in and out and see what is happening. And again, if you are in the customer support team, or you're a member of this department, you can go in and see, okay, which the tickets that you've assigned, the loops, who has actually met, has hit those answered those particular questions. Which customer have you dealt with? Which customer haven't you dealt with? So it really does become a great place to sort of start building your customer support channels and start building on how to deal with customers, and it's a great place where everything is incorporated. Good. I think we've had a couple of questions. I will read out the questions, but please feel free if there's any other questions that you want that I didn't answer, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A. So we've got a couple of questions. I'll have a look here. Okay, so Rajiv has asked, I've used this 5-6 days. We get emails 5-6 and reply immediately, but freezing it, syncing is not quick. We want to chat to it. So, okay. So there's a question about the amount of volume and context that a particular person has. Rajiv, we could take that offline and discuss that with you. As you know, we're still developing our back end and we're still trying to make it as powerful as possible. So there may be some circumstances where there are over 10,000 contacts or 20,000 contacts where we're trying to improve the back end as much as possible. So it is in the pipeline and we're working on that. Sending emojis on the Mac. Okay, so this is actually quite a common question, because I think a lot of people are so comfortable with sending emojis, especially when they're associated with chat messaging. On mobile, it's very easy because you have the emoji button on your keyboard. But on a Mac, you do press Command plus space, and it will pop up the emoji sheet for you. And from there, you can pick the emojis that you want. We have one more question. Can you edit subject lines? At the moment, you can't change a subject line in a loop. You can obviously change the subject line if you're starting or composing a new email. But we haven't actually, that's not been a common question. So maybe if we get a lot of requests from customers asking us to actually change, or have the ability to change the subject for a loop, that could be something that we could incorporate. We've got quite an extensive roadmap, and we can add stuff if and when we need to. Any more questions from anyone else? I think there's one more questions. Okay, so we've got one more, which is, what happens if I have more teams and I need to communicate with them? Can I create more teams? Yeah, you can create endless amount of teams. As I mentioned, teams aren't necessarily just teams. They could be teams based on projects, teams based on ideas or sharing, but you're not restricted in the amount of teams that you can create. So create to your heart's content. So yeah, definitely. Okay, so how can you, another question, how can you report email spam? Can we add support for Grammarly? So we've got a very a sophisticated spam filter in there, but there's been certain circumstances where people have requested to see their spam, and I think we are currently working on giving you the ability to see that as well. I think we were actually testing something out not so long ago, so Roger, that could definitely be in the pipeline. Add for Grammarly is another question. Again, it's really dependent on how many people request this from us. At the moment, not many have requested Grammarly support, so we haven't really gone down that avenue to see if we can get it in. But again, depending on the demand, depending on the amount of requests we get, it's something that we can definitely add onto our roadmap. Okay, one more question. Do clients I work with need to install and use loops, use the app as well? So no. So I think I mentioned for people that weren't in the webinar earlier, if you have customers or external people who are not using Loop email and you add them to a team or you add them to a loop, or if you send them a chat message, they will receive that information as a traditional email. So unlike other apps where where both parties need to have the same application on Loop because it's built on email, the other individual doesn't necessarily need to have the same app. We recommend that they do because they get to have a great experience within the UI that we've created. It really becomes channel-based. Teams and favorites and loops have a place, whereas in a traditional inbox, a Gmail or an Outlook inbox, they get it as a normal threaded email, which could be quite messy for the other user. But what it does is it doesn't restrict you and doesn't hold you hostage, but you're using a particular product and the other person isn't. We definitely wanted to make it as hostile free as possible. So external communication we recommend it, give it a go, give it a try. The app itself will prompt you if you do send a particular message to a person that's not on the platform, that they aren't on the platform. So that is definitely something to bear in mind, that you will get a notification or just a little reminder to say they're not on the platform, so they will get a traditional email. One more question we've got, anything on smart replies? Not right now, but again, we're working with one or two companies at the moment, and with them we're actually creating a bunch of smart replies, and again, something that we're going to look to add in the future. We're working with the companies to create this rather than ourselves, because we want to see what kind of replies these companies are after, and then try to make them as general as possible as well. Good. I think that's all the questions. Brilliant. Okay. So let's move on. So, I mean, that's it for this particular webinar. I hope it's been beneficial to everybody. You will know that then we'll be sending an email out actually shortly, which will talk about our next webinar, which will be held on the 12th of February, 2019. The webinar is about how great teams are performing using Loop email, how they are. It's all about how these companies that we're working with, how they're incorporating it, and how work and dynamism within their company has expanded because of Loop email. So that's on February the 12th. So I hope you guys can all join. If you can't, we will quite happily send you the webinar once it's done. Once again, if you do want to onboard a team, or you would like to book a demo, or just have a general discussion about onboarding or what the process is like and what you need from your side and what we need from our side, you can reach me on my email address, which is faisal@intheloop.io. I'm available at any time, so don't feel free to ping me, message me. If you're on Loop, send me a chat message. I'll be able to reply to you straight away. But yeah, if you do have any other questions, you can reach out to me at any time. Brilliant, guys. I really appreciate all your time. Thank you so much. Hope to see you all in the next webinar. Goodbye. See you later.